ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, guys. In my today's live, I'm going to be covering three topics. Just put this down a little bit. All right. I hope this is okay. So, in my today's live, guys, I'm going to be covering three topics. As you can already see from the thumbnail of the video, one, a 1-year-old, can you imagine, guys? A 1-year-old has been sent a letter of deportation. Not only has she been sent a letter of deportation, both parents are here in the UK legally, and there's a lesson to be learned from the situation that I'm going to be talking about in today's video. Secondly, I'm also going to be giving you an update on the health and care worker visa. What are the intentions of UK, or what are the intentions of the Labour Party here in UK in the event that they win elections? They have they've already made a decision on what they're going to do with regards to the healthcare assistants being able to bring in their dependents from overseas, as well as bring in their families from overseas. And the third thing that I'm going to be talking about in this video, this is for people who are all in the red list countries. As you all know, there is what we call a red list country, whereby direct recruitment is not allowed. Let's say you want to relocate to UK and come to work as a nurse, as a carer, as a doctor, and so forth and so on. As long as you are in the red list country, a recruiter is not allowed to directly recruit you from overseas. However, there are changes which the Labour, is it the Labour Party? Yes, there are changes which the Labour Party want to implement as soon as they win the elections. The thing is, when it comes to elections, you never know which party is going to win. So all the parties, they already tell you that once we get in power, this is what we're going to be doing. So this is what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. One, the child who has been sent a letter of deportation. Two, the fate of healthcare workers with regards to bringing their families to UK. And three, the fate of those who are in red list countries, also with regards to relocating to come and work in the UK in the healthcare sector, be it a healthcare assistant, doctor, pharmacist, psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever you are, as long as you are going to be coming to work here in the UK, and you are coming from a red list country, this information that I'm going to share with you is going to impact you. And if you're new to my channel, guys, you are welcome. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Pauline Popomoyo, and in this channel, I share information with you on how you can migrate to overseas without breaking a bank. I also share my life here in the UK, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the bizarre. So if you're interested in relocating to overseas, be it New Zealand, Canada, Australia, any country that you're interested in locating to, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do subscribe to this channel, because I constantly share information on how you can relocate. So now I'm going to start by greeting you before I dive into the story. I don't normally like telling stories on live, but it takes a lot of time to edit. So I'll just greet you, then I'll dive into the video. Good morning, Care. Good morning. It's afternoon. Good afternoon, Care. Tendai Nosipo. So, guys, one thing that I need you to know is that UK abides by the rules and regulations. If they set rules and regulations, they abide by the rules and regulations. So what happened to this individual, this 1-year-old who has been sent a letter of deportation? The Home Office sent her a letter of deportation and told her that you have no right to live in the UK. You have to leave UK immediately, or you'll be forced out of UK, as in they will come and remove you to go out of UK. Right, guys, as you come in, may you please smash the like button, and may you also share this video with those who are in red list countries, because this is an update for them. Share this video with those who are healthcare assistants, because they obviously they want to know the fate, or are they going to be able to bring their family members or not. And anyone who's interested in relocating to overseas, because it affects all of us, right? So what happened is, this individual, this child, I'll call her Susan. Anyway, the name is written in the newspaper articles all over, so I'll just leave the article so that you read for yourself. Susan's parents are relocated to UK legally One, the father came to work, not to work, to study as a PhD student, and the mother joined in as a dependent. And the interesting thing is that this child was actually born in the United Kingdom. Because if you are reading the article, the father is concerned that how am I in future going to tell my child that this country that she was born in considered her an overstayer? But I would like you to tell me what you think of the situation, guys. So they gave birth to this to Susan, right? And after giving birth to Susan, they did not apply for her, because what you have to know is that just because you are born in UK, you do not automatically have the right to become a UK citizen. You don't automatically have the right to have a British passport, because most of the time people tend to think that, oh, because my child is born in UK, the child is now a British citizen. No, as long as you are born to, if neither of your parents has got a settled status or is a British citizen, then you as a child, you have absolutely no right to claim British citizenship or British passport, because you are still considered a what? A migrant. So I understand that the father was saying, oh, my child was born in UK. Why? Even if your child is born in UK, as long as you are not a British citizen, as long as one of you does not have settled status, you obviously you need to apply for the papers, right? So these individuals, it took them a whole year, because they applied in March. Now the child is 1 year 1 month. They applied in March this year, and then the child was denied the visa. Actually, they applied in March, and then on the 10th of April, they asked to provide additional information, and they were told that they needed that information within 10 days so that they make a decision. They provided that information, and after providing that information, a month later in May, just last week, they were told that the child has no, because they did not provide information which was requested within 10 days, they now have to leave the United Kingdom. The interesting thing is that they managed to get this child a Brazilian passport, because the mother is a Brazilian and the other father, I don't know if that's the mother or the father, one of them is Brazilian, one of them is from Jordan. They traveled with this child outside the country. The child traveled with the child outside the country before making the child stay in UK legal. So the child had a passport and everything. And according to the newspapers, when the child went out of the country, she went out of the country twice. And when she's now coming back to UK, she came back, when she was now coming back to UK, she came back on a visitor's visa. And then the father then applied for a British, for not for a British passport. The father then applied to add her as a dependent to his visa. So they've been applying to lawyers to say, no, it is unfair for the UK to ask a child, a 1 year old, to leave the UK. Most of she was born in UK, but the UK is turning around to say, we go by the rules and regulations governing the UK government, right? And we are going to adhere to those rules. So do you understand what I'm saying, guys? It doesn't matter how old you are here in the United Kingdom. If there are rules which are stated in black and white, those rules stated in black and white, the government will not say, this is a 5-month-old baby, and we will not deport you out of UK. If you are a 5-month-old baby and you don't have the papers, because in my opinion, like I always say, I'm entitled to my opinion. In my opinion, the parents of this child were not supposed to leave the UK before legalizing this child's stay in UK, right? Because when you're leaving the UK, you obviously have to present papers in the border and so forth. So they left the UK without legalizing the child's stay in UK. So now, who do you think is to blame, guys? I don't know. Who do you think is the blame? Is it the Home Office to be blamed, or the individuals who decided not to legalize the stay for 1 full year? Not to legalize the child stay for 1 full year. Guys, who is in the wrong here? I don't want to take sides, but from your opinion, who is in the wrong? So make sure that, because I know people tend to think that, oh, now I'm in UK, I can have a baby. I remember one time when I was doing my hair, like a couple of years ago, my hairdresser was saying to me, oh, you've got this, I had have an Irish boyfriend, right? And we've been going out for like 2 years. And then she was like to me, why don't you have his child so that you automatically become a British, that I automatically become a British citizen and stuff like that. It does not work like that here in UK. Even if you come here, you rush to have a child with a British person and stuff like that, you not become a citizen of Britain because you've automatically had a child with a British person. Still have to serve your 5 years here in UK to be eligible for your indefinite leave to remain. Not only that, the British individual who's making you have a child is supposed to be earning at least now 37,500 or 37,800 pounds for you to become a citizen. So don't make that mistake that, oh, when I'm here, I'm going to have a baby. And once I have that baby, they automatically become British. You come here, if you decide to have a child, because no one stops you from having a child, but I would not advise you because we know that last year, 40-something healthcare workers relocated from some of our countries. And once they were here in UK, they all fell pregnant. What you have to know is most of these carers who fell pregnant, they were working in a domiciliary care and stuff like that. UK is very tough. If you come, you are not entitled. If you come within that one, you need to have at least work for 1 year before you are entitled to maternity leave allowance. And even if you are working in care homes, how much allowance are you going to be getting in maternity leave? So if you come and within the first year you get pregnant and you are the only one who is a provider, or whether you've got the source of income is coming from you, I'll tell you, you are not going to be able to survive because it's very expensive. You go for maternity leave, you'll be unpaid for the whole, I don't know how long you want to take your maternity leave, whether it's 1 year, whatever. You won't be paid for that time. Even if you are paid, the money is very sick. You won't be able to pay your rent. You won't be able to put food on the table. You won't be able. People are very poor and living miserable here in UK, and I've got a video lined up just to show you the reality on the ground here in UK, just to show you the amount of poverty which is here in UK, just to show you how rough people are living in the streets. You'll be shocked. So I've got a video lined up. It might come tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, so that you get a clearer picture of what life is like here in the UK. Because you see people, maybe you come here, you see me, I wash my face and I put makeup and I go and eat in this restaurant and go to this country to visit and stuff like that. Then you think, oh, life is beautiful. No, life is not like that here in UK. Life is very tough, guys. If you are on a like maybe a carer salary, even if you are on a nurse's salary and you are not going an extra mile to add that few cents into your salary, life is going to be tough for you. So wait for this video. You see for yourselves and you'll be shocked at how things are rough here in UK. People are living in houses with rats running around. People are living in houses with molds and everything. Anyway, to another video, you'll be shocked. Now, moving on to the health and care worker visa. Before I move on to the health and care worker visa, let me see what people have to say. So guys, if you have any questions, that you need to ask, don't hesitate, throw in your questions in the comments, whatever question that you want to ask. That's why I love doing lives these days, because it gives you an opportunity to ask your questions and I answer your questions as we go along. So if you have any questions, now I'm going to be moving on to the health and care worker visa. If you have any questions, just drop the questions as I go along. Then I'll check your questions and I'll answer your questions. Guys, when it comes to the health and care worker visa, the UK has already seen that because of the new measures that they've put in place, the number of people applying has plummeted by 76%, which means that now they say there is obvious shortage in the NHS hospitals. However, regardless of NHS having shortage, they clearly stated that the Labour clearly stated that even if they are to come in position, they are not going to reconsider the decision that they made, or the decision that has been made by the government, that the healthcare workers should bring in their dependents from overseas. They said their main concern, what they are mainly concerned about, is bringing down the numbers of individuals coming to UK, like bringing down the migration levels to UK, because they've been ridiculously high according to them. They've been too high. So they are still not going to reconsider that. And they've written it in black and white that even if the what you call this, even if the numbers in NHS are going down, they are not going to consider that. They do not want to bring in more people from overseas. They are just not more people. They just, yes, they don't want to bring in more people from overseas, and they don't want to permit the healthcare workers to bring in their dependents from overseas. So for now, if you are a healthcare assistant, if you are coming in as a healthcare assistant, it is going to be, just prepare yourself that you will not bring in your family anytime soon. You are not going to be able to bring in your family because they are not showing that they are willing to be flexible or anything of that sort, and they are not greatly concerned or gravely concerned that the NHS is going to suffer from this, because already it is already suffering. But in its suffering, do they still want to recruit from overseas? They clearly stated, now I'm moving on to those who are coming from red list countries. When it comes to red list countries, they actually said it is immoral and unethical to recruit from red list countries. So what they've noted, they actually did their statistics, and after doing their statistics, they noted that doctors, 35% of the doctors and 25% of the nurses, they all come from Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Ghana, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. So they haven't considered other nationalities. These 5 nationalities, 35% of the doctors, which is a huge number, 35% of the doctors within the NHS come from these 5 countries. And 25% of the nurses, a quarter of all the nurses working in the NHS, come from these 5 countries. So if I'm looking at that myself, if they come from those 5 countries, I know there are other African countries that they have not included, and I know there are other countries from overseas which they have not included. Doesn't it show you that the NHS is actually highly dependent on overseas workers? And it being dependent on overseas workers, they've actually said they want to completely, I'll leave the article in the discussion box so that you read for yourself. They want to completely stop the NHS. Not to say, oh, you can apply directly to the NHS. They want to completely stop the NHS from recruiting doctors from Nigeria, doctors from Zimbabwe, doctors from Ghana, doctors from, those countries that they mentioned, right? They want to completely stop recruiting nurses from Zimbabwe, nurses from Ghana, nurses from Nigeria, nurses from Bangladesh, nurses from Pakistan, because they say it is immoral. Why are they saying it is immoral? They are saying having, let's say in a hospital, having a quarter of the nurses in a hospital coming from a country or countries where they say there's critical shortage, they are asking themselves, okay, if we're taking, I'll give you an example. There was a point in time in the hospital where I used to work in the hospital, just the hospital that I used to work in. In 1 month, 156 healthcare providers, 156, they left. So imagine, which means 156 people left one hospital. And I'm talking of one hospital. I'm not looking at the whole country. So can you imagine the whole country, if I look to look at the whole country, all hospitals, all district hospitals, how many people would have left the country in just 1 month? So they are saying it is unfair for them to benefit from people who are coming from overseas, while their countries remain behind suffering. If we have been working in hospitals which are overseas, the last time I worked in a hospital overseas, there was a shortage of staff. I remember there was a point in time, and I'm not lying, because before I relocated to UK, I actually asked to go and work because I had not been working in the clinical area for 10 years. I was working at the School of Nursing, and I'd worked in the School of Nursing for 10 years. And I did not have any hands-on experience in those 10 years. And I had not worked with patients for those 10 years. So I said, you know what, I need to go and work in the pediatric unit because I specialized in pediatrics. So I said, and can I just go and work in the pediatric unit for the remaining, I think it was the remaining 5 or 6 months before I relocated to UK, just to give me that feel of working in the clinical area, interacting with the residents, interacting with patients, because I had not done it for 10 years because of working in the School of Nursing. So guys, when I worked there in the clinical area, I don't want to lie. One, there was critical shortage. Two, you'll be 3 nurses or 2 nurses, 1 student, or 3 nurses with 1 student, and you'll be having 86, literally 86 patients to look after in the pediatric unit. Just the 4 of you with 86 patients, and it will be just 3 nurses. So imagine the nurse patient ratio if there are 86 patients and the 3 of you nurses to look after all those patients. And then all the nurses now leave that hospital already when there's a shortage, and they all leave that hospital, live in that hospital to suffer even more. Because I remember there was one time people were going on strike, what. I went to the hospital and I was one nurse, 82 patients, 2 student nurses. You understand? 82 patients, two student nurses. So the UK is looking at that and saying it is immoral that me being one nurse with 82 patients, they take me from my country so that I come and work here. If they take me, who is going to remain behind looking after those patients? That's what they are simply saying, that no, it is not fair. I don't know what you think, guys, whether it is not fair or is it fair for them to say we want to completely stop taking from those countries, looking at the situation that I've presented to you, that okay, there is critical shortage there, people are suffering, there's no one, because everyone is leaving. Why is everyone leaving? It's not like everyone is leaving because they don't love their countries, believe you me. It's because of the socio-economic status in most of our countries. The socio-economic status is not permitting us to stay there, because you'll be going to work and you are hungry. You cannot afford to buy food for yourself because the salary that you are getting is very, very minimum. You'll be going to work, you love your work. Because me, the happiest time that I had, it's different from so working overseas, it's different from working, let's say I'm working in Zimbabwe. It was different. Even if we were poor and everything and whatever, you have that excitement that you are going to work. There's never this thing that I see here in UK, that there's always night staff are fighting with day staff. Night staff, you did not do this. Day staff, you did not do this. Oh, you did not wash how many residents, wanted how many residents. And then there's always anger and animosity. I'm sure if you're working in UK, you know that what I'm saying is true. Night staff, they're always fighting with day staff. If you are working here in UK, there's always the thing that if you're a registered nurse, you're always working on eggshells. Yeah, always walking on eggshells, because you're constantly threatened that you will lose your pin, you will lose your pin, you will lose your pin, you will lose your pin. If you do this, there was never in my whole entire career working in my country, there was never ever one single time where I was threatened that you will lose a pin. There was never a time where I would say the day nurse is fighting with the night nurse, the day carers are fighting with the night carers. There's always anger, there's always animosity, there's always racism. There's never anything of that sort. The only reason that people are leaving their countries is because of the poor socio-economic status. So now, if they want to decide to completely stop the recruitment from those countries, what are we going to do next, guys? What are we going to do? I'll advise you, if you are overseas right now, and you are a nurse, you are a doctor, you are a healthcare assistant, whatever, right now the UK is very tough, guys. The UK is very tough. I know most of us will say, oh, I don't want to write NCLEX, oh, blah, blah, blah. If you are able to prepare and write for your NCLEX, if you are a nurse, go ahead, prepare and write for your NCLEX, and go and work in America and get your green card and bring your family ASAP and get better monies than in the United Kingdom. I know the major thing which deters most of us, guys, I've lost weight, my clothes are falling off. I know one of the things which deters most of us is the fact that, oh, there is NCLEX, oh, there is what. Take your time, dedicate your time to reading your NCLEX. This is my advice from you. Dedicate your time to reading your NCLEX and seek for greener pastures in America. seek for greener pastures in New Zealand, seek for greener pastures in Australia, or seek for greener pastures New Zealand, then you go to Australia. And as I am here in the United Kingdom, a lot of nurses, in my workplace, so many people have left. A lot of nurses are leaving the United Kingdom and they are going to Australia, they are going to New Zealand, they are going to America. Not that the United Kingdom is bad, but things are not looking good. You understand? Look at the situation here in UK. Look at the newspaper articles. Things are not looking good. So instead of, because I know a lot of nurses, they come to my DM, Popo, I've done my CPT, I've done my everything. They've done their everything, but they're failing to get jobs here in UK. Not that there are no jobs, they are just not hiring from their countries. They're just not hiring from Zambia. They're just not hiring from Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Ghana, Bangladesh, Pakistan. Because in as much as the law has not been put out there that don't hire from these countries, there are NHS I've personally seen letters from the NHS, rejection letters from the NHS hospital. One individual had 8 of them from different NHS hospitals, clearly stating to the individual that you are from a red list country. And actually, the individual had gotten a place in some of the hospitals, but they came back to her and said, you are from red list countries, and we've been instructed not to recruit from red list countries. So here I'm just advising you guys. It's not like I'm saying do it. It's just advice, because it is pointless for you to write your CPT, spend money and write your CPT and spend money and prepare to come to UK, and at the end of the day, your IELTS expires. I have my own relatives who have had their IELTS expire. They couldn't secure jobs, and another thing, they're holding on to the verification. So instead of wasting that money and waiting to say, oh, maybe I'll get a job in this NHS, maybe I'll get a job in this NHS, why not dedicate? Because you spend 2 years. 2 years is a long time for IELTS to expire, and we all know that IELTS is difficult. They make it difficult. It's not like English is difficult. Yes, we might speak and break English, like I speak to you and break English at times, but it's IELTS is difficult to pass. It's not like this basic English. They make things more complicated. So for you to spend, because sometimes you rewrite your IELTS 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, you write your CPT, and then you say, I want to come to UK, and you spend 2 years applying day in, day out, until your IELTS expires. You are now back to square one. So instead of dedicating that time to say, oh, I'll study my CPT, I'll write my CPT, for now, it's difficult to penetrate UK. That is the reality on the ground. Me, I don't like to lie to you. I like keeping things real. Things are difficult in UK. Explore other avenues. The Labour, they also clearly stated that as soon as they come into power, that is if they come into power, or even if they don't come into power, even the Conservative, whosoever wins, they've clearly stated that going forward, this is a temporal measure. They want to stop the reliance. They're relying on people coming from overseas. They want to completely stop relying from people who are coming from overseas. So that should tell you something, that if you are in whatever country, they mentioned countries, and if you're in that country, I know a lot of people in Nigeria, Ghana, that I said some 2 years ago, why not focus, just go to America, and they've relocated and they've gone to America. And if you do watch TikToks of those who are in America, they are living the life. They are living the life. They go there 1 year, they are in, they do travel nursing. I bought someone in my channel who's a travel nurse, who was taking home at that point in time, was taking home 16,000 US dollars. Not that when you immediately go there, you take 16,000 US dollars, but you rather work hard now and go there. The money is better. People in America are doing marvelous things compared to people in the United Kingdom. I don't want to put it that way, but that is the fact. If I myself, my colleagues, if I compare myself with my colleagues, I've been here in UK for 6 years, and I've been basically living from hand to mouth. You get by and everything. My colleagues who left after me 3 years ago, left after me and went to America, they've bought houses in America. they've bought houses back home. They are building. There's another, they've bought houses. Some of my colleagues that I used to work with, they've bought farms, they've bought plots, but here I am in UK. I don't have farms, I don't have houses, I don't have plots, I don't have what, because it is difficult. The money that you get is enough for you to get by. That is the reality on the ground. Popo doesn't lie. She says things as they are. So if you are still overseas, my darling, consider going to other countries. Consider going to other countries. I'm not speaking against the United Kingdom, but this is what is happening on the ground. Yes, they are putting in apprenticeship programs. They are rejecting applications from overseas. One application, or not one application, several applications that I've seen, they said, we want third-year student nurses, don't want people from overseas. We want to bring migration levels down. Say they are determined to bring migration levels down, and it's going to be difficult and more difficult and more difficult to come to UK. It has previously happened, guys. It's not the first time. Remember, before they opened here, at some point in time, they completely stopped recruiting from overseas. So they can completely stop recruiting from overseas for the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years, and then see that, oh, we have got a critical shortage of staff, and start again. So instead of wasting your time, instead of wasting your money, instead of knocking at the door, which is closed, you're knocking at the door which is closed, try knocking at other doors, because when one door closes, another door with greater opportunities opens. That's a fact. So don't put your eggs in one basket. Don't focus on UK only. It is not the only place with greener pastures. America has got greener pastures. New Zealand has got greener pastures. Australia has got greener pastures. You are free to choose wherever you want to go, because UK doesn't want you anymore. That's the truth. UK does not want people coming from overseas anymore. UK does not want people coming from red list countries anymore, because they're saying it is immoral and they don't want to do any moral thing. Let me see if you've got any questions, guys. May you kindly drop them in the comment section. I always say when I start talking, I don't stop. That's the problem that I have. If you have any questions, kindly drop them in the comment section so that I look at your questions. And then after looking at your questions, maybe we might wrap up this live. So I'll check if there are any questions. Ifari David says, if the baby was taken out of UK and later brought back, the immigration status when re-entering the UK will be based on the parent's current status. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Even if the immigration is based on the parent's current status, the parents' current status is that they are both legally in UK. But when they went out of UK, they used a Brazilian passport for the child, which means they prioritized applying because here in UK you're allowed to have dual citizenship, but they prioritized having a Brazilian license and a passport. And according to the article written in the which news is that, Sky News, according to the article written in the Sky News, they actually said when the child came into UK, the child entered in as a visitor. When they're coming back, they used a visitor's route. So when that child used the visitor's route, because obviously for you to go in and out of UK, you have to have for example, you have to be on there, in the certificate of sponsorship of your parent. You have to be a dependent of your parent. It's just like me, if I'm here in UK and let's say I'm on a certificate of sponsorship and I give birth to a child here in UK, I cannot take that child outside UK without legalizing their stay in UK. Personally, if I am a migrant, if I'm in this country and I don't belong to this country, personally, I would want to legalize my child's stay here in UK and not prioritize getting their home passport. Understand? So it is important that if you are here, legalize your child's stay. Because you can get your passport, you can travel with your passport. I don't know whether that country is a visa-free country, I'm not sure. You can travel with your passport, but you need to have permission from the UK, because being born in UK to parents who are non-UK citizens does not give you the rights. It does not make you an automatic British citizen. You can only become an automatic British citizen if your father is a British citizen, or your mother is a British citizen, or your father or your mother have got a settled status. When I'm talking of settled status, I'm saying if an individual has, for example, received an indefinite leave to remain in UK, then if I have an indefinite leave to remain here in UK, if I give birth to my child, that child is free to, that child automatically gets a British citizenship, but I still have to apply to get that British citizenship. To me, it doesn't make sense to stay the whole year and even leave the country without officializing your stay here in UK, because you know that after finishing you can sometimes you cannot even secure a job in UK. You might have to leave and go back to your country. You understand? So that is the reality on the ground, guys. You have to legalize your stay, legalize your child's stay here in UK. Pat Mahlangu says, kindly help me to bring my sister, please. Your sister is what is your sister? What is your qualification? What is your sister's qualification? What does she want to come as? What you have to understand is that despite all this that is going on, UK is not completely closed its borders to overseas workers. Depending on the country that you're coming from, even if you're coming from a red list country, you can apply directly to care homes, with the hope that the care homes that you're applying to have not been instructed not to recruit from red list countries. Because as far as I know, there are care homes which don't recruit in red list countries. There are care homes which do recruit in red list countries. However, there are specific nationalities that they don't recruit. They will say they will not recruit Nigerians. You have heard that. They will say they will not recruit Zimbabweans. You have heard that. They will say they will not recruit Ghanaians. You have heard that. Why? Because the majority of people who relocated to UK, even through the health and care worker visa, the majority of people who met the health and care worker visa were from Zimbabwe and Nigeria. There is nowhere where you will read a newspaper article where they talk of other countries, like how many people came from Kenya, how many people came from Zambia, how many people. It's always Zimbabwe, Nigeria, and India, amongst other countries. They stated that it was about 18,000 Nigeria, 16,000 Zimbabwe, and they maybe double the amount from India. So now, to be fair, they are saying those countries also need their people. So instead of taking everyone from those countries, because we know the socio-economic status from those countries, that's why people are leaving their countries and all that. But they want to stop that. They've clearly stated that they want to stop that. So even if you have to apply directly to care homes, it's now kiss goes by favor. That is, if you are lucky, you might get a place in a care home. If you are unfortunate, you might not get a place in a care home because of these new rules that they're putting into place. Whether a nurse, whether a doctor, whether a carer, whether everyone is affected equally as long as you are coming from a red list country. I have had individuals, guys, I do try for people that I don't know. That's the honest truth. They come to me and say, Popo, you know what? I've been applying so many times. I've been trying. Please help me. And I say, okay, I'm going to help you. I take my time. I look for care homes hiring. Send 20 links. Look for NHS hiring. Send 20 links. Like one individual, I send over 30 links, taking my time. And I don't make people pay for that. I'll be doing that for free, guys. That's how kind I am, of course. So after having sent that individual all those places hiring and so forth, because sometimes it's difficult for individuals to look for places which are hiring. Sometimes people I put into consideration that it's not everyone who's able to access the internet, because sometimes some of our countries, it's very expensive to surf the internet. It's very expensive. You might think that sounds crazy, but that's the reality on the ground. It's very expensive. So I'm just cutting, the process of spending all that money trying to search for this. And I gave them links to apply, over 30 links to apply as a nurse, not even as a carer. The individual, even though the individual only managed to secure places in interviews and places in the NHS hospital. And afterwards, did get some like, congratulations, you've passed. When she was happy waiting for a certificate of sponsorship, blah blah blah, they came back to her and told her this thing. immoral and unethical to recruit from red list countries. So now it's going to go by favor, right? There are individuals who really apply to NHS hospitals, specifically in England, London, England, and they did get jobs and they're relocating to UK. But now it goes by luck. That is the thing, it goes by luck. Even applying directly to care homes, it now goes by luck, especially if you are coming from Zimbabwe, if you are coming from Nigeria, if you are coming from Ghana, if you are coming from Pakistan, if you are coming from Bangladesh, because these 5 countries, they are the ones who made the majority of nurses, doctors, care workers to UK. So it's going to be tough to get a place here. That's why I was saying this advice that, okay, even if you want to come to UK, if you have the ability, if you can consider other options, if you can consider other countries, it's not only UK which is hiring people from overseas, all other countries are hiring from overseas. Majority of the countries are hiring from overseas because they are putting this brick hole. Instead of wasting time trying to penetrate this brick hole, try other places. You understand? So if your sister wants to come in as a nurse, this is the reality on the ground. They can try their luck, but you can see that the chances of getting a job here in UK, they're getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. So look at all those things before you try and come to UK. Then says, what is if you are already in the UK? Onyenye, I'm not sure which part you are asking about being already in the UK. As a healthcare provider, as a care assistant, as a nurse, which question are you really asking? Is it in relation to the child who was asked to leave the UK, or is it in relation to the health and care worker visa, or is it related to the recruitment? So I'm not really sure what your question is. In England, you still need your level 1 and level 2. Fair enough. Hi, Popo. Are they going to issue the COS? The issuing of the certificate of sponsorship is continuing, guys. They have not stopped the issuing of the certificate of sponsorship. They are still issuing the certificate of sponsorship. And this week alone, I've congratulated quite a number. I've celebrated with a number of people who have received their certificate of sponsorship. So yes, they are still issuing the certificate of sponsorship. It's just that they are delaying because of all these scandals that have been going on. They are delaying the issuing of the certificate of sponsorship, guys, right? But they are still issuing. That is the reality on the ground. They are still issuing. So if you are waiting for a certificate of sponsorship, you can patiently wait for it. And it doesn't mean that you're going to get it, right? You can get it, you cannot get it. So I'm just saying this so that you don't get disappointed, because I've had people come back to me after waiting for 8 months for a certificate of sponsorship, devastated that they've not what? They've been told that after waiting for so long, you are not going to get your COS because Home Office has said this. Some of the companies who offered us the certificate of sponsorship are currently under investigation. And if they're under investigation, they're not going to issue any COS until the investigation is done. So these companies, if they're under investigations, the Home Office can give them 2 decisions. Either, well, we have investigated your company, it's fine, you can go ahead and what? Continue to issue. You can go ahead, this is the COS, give to your individuals or give to whosoever applied. Then there are companies where they're going to say, we have investigated your company. You are not adhering to the rules and regulations governing the issuing of the certificate of sponsorship, and therefore we are going to revoke your license. And if they revoke the license, if you are waiting for a certificate of sponsorship from that company, automatically you are no longer going to what? To get your COS, because the license has been revoked. If they say yes, you'll get your certificate of sponsorship. Then John CL says, we do want to stop them from other countries. The UK needs our own nurses and doctors. I agree with the government. John, it's okay that you agree with the government, but do you realize that the UK has got a critical shortage of nurses and doctors? If you really did not need people from overseas, if really you did not need nurses and carers and doctors from overseas, then definitely, enough with the noise, please. That's too much noise. All right. Then definitely you wouldn't be having 35% of doctors coming from Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Ghana if you really wanted to use your own workforce. You understand? The fact that you've got 35% of people of doctors from overseas and you've got 25%, I'm only counting 5 countries. I haven't talked of the Indians because there are so many Indians working in UK. I haven't talked of the Philippines because there are so many Filipinos working in UK and so forth and so on. No one is stopping the British people from going to school and becoming nurses and doctors so that they work in their hospitals. The fact that you see us coming to work here, it's because I didn't even know that there is shortage here in UK. You are the ones who actually told me that, Popo, we are experiencing a critical shortage here in UK. We need nurses. Can you come? And now, what I don't like, John Seal, is to act as if our presence here in UK is nothing under nothing. We are doing a marvelous job. Let me tell you, nurses, doctors, carers, and everything, we are doing a marvelous job. Us back home, we take care of our elderly. Here in UK, people are failing to take care of their elderly. They are taking them to care homes. And guess who's taking care of those people in the care homes? The healthcare workers from overseas, the nurses from overseas. Where I work, 90% of the people in all the care homes that I work in, because I work in more than one place, I work in like 7, 8 care homes. The majority of the people are from overseas. There was a day I worked in one of the care homes with 4 different units, and in all those units, all the nurses and carers were all from overseas in that night shift. You understand, guys? So let us not act as if us being here, oh, you're taking our space. No, we did not dream of. We were actually invited. We are experiencing a critical shortage of nurses. We're experiencing a critical, and obviously, if you've got a quota of the people coming from only these 5 countries, without which means more than half of the people working for the NHS are from overseas. So we are the backbone of the NHS, John. If there was a magnet that will just say, pick everyone from overseas and just let the British remain in the hospitals, the NHS would collapse. Because without us, the backbone of the NHS, it will definitely collapse. The government is saying we don't need people from overseas. The NHS hospitals themselves, those who are working on the ground, are saying, please, consider carers bringing in their dependents from overseas. Please do not step the health and care worker visa route. Please, we are experiencing a critical shortage of staff. Please, we need people from overseas. You understand? So the people from overseas are the backbone of the NHS, and they are needed. In as much as they say we need our own nurses. Your own nurses, they are not willing to go to school. They are not willing to work. They are not willing to. That's why they are hiring from overseas. Because if they're willing to do all those things, you wouldn't be having a hospital with 35% of doctors coming from overseas. If from 5 countries, because there are so many countries, I haven't counted all countries, and 25% quota of the nurses coming from 5 countries outside the UK. And it's not only a quota, the statistics also prove otherwise. So in as much as you want your nurses, you don't have them. In as much as you want your carers, you don't have them. In as much as you want your doctors, you don't have them. And because you don't have them, we are here to help you. Understand that we are helping you. We're not here for fun. I cannot leave my family and everything in my day and uproot my life to come to UK to have fun. I came here to work because there's shortage. The carers who came here to work because there's shortage. Same applies to the doctors and everything. We are not disputing that you want your workforce, but your workforce is not there. It is not there. That's why you are lying on us coming from overseas. Period. All right. Hi, Popo, is MMA still hiring carers? MMA healthcare recruitment is at a standstill at the present moment. Why? Because of the issue of the COS. There are people who have been waiting for their certificate of sponsorship since September last year, and to date, they have not received their certificate of sponsorship, even though they applied for jobs with very big companies, because MMA does not recruit for small, tiny companies. MMA recruits for big companies, companies with 181 care homes, 120 care homes, 90 care homes. Those are the types of care homes that MMA healthcare recruitment recruits for. But the Home Office is at a standstill in the issuing of the certificate of sponsorship. They are just issuing them in small batches, small batches, small batches. So in as much as there are people waiting for the certificate of sponsorship, in as much as they can still hire people from overseas and offer them a certificate of sponsorship as healthcare assistant, it is pointless to want to hire more people when you've got 200 people waiting for their certificate of sponsorship. Which means if you take more people, we are just bulking them. They're going to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. So they said until they clear this backlog, which is there, they will stop the hiring, right? Then once the backlog is cleared, they will then commence. And in the commencing, because of all this which has been happening, even the biggest of care homes, the big care homes, my friend who actually came here to Northern Ireland came through MMA healthcare recruitment to a big care home. But the Home Office turned around and said there were so many certificates of sponsorship issued to the domiciliary carers and issued to the, in England and so forth. And now they are limiting the number of COS being issued to care workers. So yes, they're hiring, they are waiting for the certificate of sponsorship, they're waiting to clear the backlog. And the hiring of care workers from overseas is becoming, they're cutting the numbers down. They're cutting the numbers down because they want to bring migration levels down. So yes, even if they're hiring, they have to clear the backlog first. Precious and Simanga says, hi, Popo. I want to bring my older kids as visitors. What are the requirements? How old are your older kids? Because you know what? The UK is like this. Most of the time, if let's say I want to bring my mother, because my mother has been to UK, right? And I'm intending that my mother and my father at some point in time, whether sometime this year or next year, they come back to the United Kingdom. It's easier for the UK Home Office to grant older people their visas if they can provide proof like I've got a house, I've got a company, I've got a business, I've got a what, and that actually shows that they are going to go back to their country because they cannot leave their houses, they cannot leave their business, they cannot leave their cars, they cannot leave their, all those things, right? But if it's a child who wants to come to UK, it would be difficult to provide that evidence because what UK has noted is that some of the children, they come here to UK and they don't leave the UK. So it's very difficult for them to grant a younger person a visa, especially children. It's difficult for them to grant them a visa if they don't have that proof that they're going to go back to their country. The proof that you can get for them is, for example, if they are at a university, let's say they're back home, they're at a university and they can provide proof that, no, I'm at a university, I'm on a semester break, I'm continuing with my studying and everything, I'm going to go back to my country. That is the number one requirement that they have. Obviously, other things like, I'm sure you know them, things like the proof of funds, your proof of funds that you're going to be able to sustain them and everything. But if you don't have tangible evidence that they are going to go back to their country, it's going to be difficult for them to grant a visa, especially if it's young stock, because young stock, once they come here to UK, they test the life of UK, they tend to want what? Disappear within the UK. Understand? So as long as you have that proof that they are going to go back to their country, you have the proof of funds that need to be in your at least 28 days in your bank statement, those proof of funds, and those are the two vital things that you can have. The ability to go back to your country and your proof of funds, that's it. But if you don't have the ability, if you don't have proof that they're going to go back, it will be difficult to get a visa. Not that they will not get a visa, because sometimes the issuing of the visas depends on who carries your documents in the Home Office there and makes the decision. Understand? So whoever is carrying your documents in the Home Office there is the one who's going to decide whether you get a visa or not, based on the information that you present to them. If your child is not working and is just seated back home and is an adult child and stuff like that, chances of getting a visa become slim because there's no evidence that they are going to go back to their work, if they've got a job or whatever. Are they going to go back to their job? Are they going to go back to university and stuff like that? So look at all those things. What about South Africa? So I would assume that Telicia's, you're asking with regards to the red list country when it comes to South Africa. South Africa is not a red list country. You are free to apply to wherever you want. If you are in South Africa, whether it's the NHS, whether it's care homes, whether it's what, it is, you are free to apply. You can apply, you can get a job. That's why I've been telling a lot of healthcare workers with our dual citizenship, Zimbabwean citizenship and South African citizenship, that it's easier to get a job if you are coming directly from South Africa. A lot of people came directly from South Africa to come and work as care workers. And the people that I was celebrating with this week, like 4 of them are from South Africa. You understand? Because South Africa, it does not what? South Africa does not belong to the red list. They can still hire from South Africa. So if you are in South Africa, you can go ahead and apply because it is not in red list, and you've got higher chances of getting the health and care worker visa if you're coming from South Africa, and higher chances of getting a job if you're coming from South Africa. In fact, there are individuals who have come before me. They've come individuals and said, do you know people in South Africa who want to come in as healthcare workers? And now most of the adverts which come out, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on what, most of the adverts which come out, they clearly state that we want people from South Africa, we want people from South Africa. So because South Africa is not a red list, the majority of the countries, if you're looking at them, it's a red list. Ghana, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Botswana. No, Botswana, I'm lying. Kenya, Zambia, and so forth. They are all in the red list. And the majority of people from those countries are the ones who want to come overseas. But even care homes are saying, we want people from South Africa, we want people from South Africa, we want people from any other country, because it's not in red list. And if it's not in red list, they know that they don't want to risk. Because what the UK does is, they might not come to you and directly tell you that we have stopped recruiting from this country, but the Home Office will be aware that, okay, don't take people from Nigeria, don't take people from Zimbabwe, and they will deny you a certificate of sponsorship based on that. But then if they say, okay, take people from South Africa and so forth, you apply from South Africa, they will grant you a certificate of sponsorship because you're applying from where? From South Africa. Because of what? It's immoral to recruit from red list countries. It's immoral for other people to remain suffering and come and help. Okay. The bad thing is, you hear John here say, oh, we want our people here. We only want our people. He's saying we want our people here, but the reality on the ground is they're not appreciating the fact that people are coming from overseas. You know, the healthcare system that side is now debilitated, and their healthcare system is actually being helped. Guys, you don't know, like I'm telling you, let's say even in the workplace where I was, all of us were from overseas. People from Nigeria, from Ghana, from the Philippines, and none were from here. None were from here. I'm talking of a care home with over 80 residents, right? If all of us were just to pick our bags, the nurses, the carers, and the cleaners and so forth, and we leave that care home, how do you think they're going to survive without us? Do you think it's going to be possible? Because the thing is, why is it that people, I've got an upcoming video which is going to explain all this. Why is it that people here in UK, they call them the minimum wage jobs? Why is it that people here in UK are not interested in the minimum wage jobs? It's because the majority of the people can survive on benefits. Understand? The UK offers benefits to people who are here in UK. If I'm here in UK, I'm not working, I go and give birth to 4 children, and I don't have a husband. Some actually choose not to have a husband because of benefits. One individual in the video that I'm going to be sharing with you soon was actually saying, I've got 4 children and I am getting £2,000 from benefits, and it's not enough. £2,000 from benefits for 4 children. Because here, if your child is here in UK, your child gets money from the government. Your child gets a, your child gets a free, child care. You go to the creche and whatever. If you are on benefits, your child gets free meals at school. I pay £3 per meal for my daughter, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 pounds per week for a meal for my daughter, but those on benefits is free. So the UK will say, oh, we don't want people from overseas, but people don't want to work here because the government is going to give them money from the benefits. And do you know where that money from the benefits comes from? We are paying taxes. We are paying a ridiculous sums of money in tax, and that tax also helps in the taking care of people on benefits. So if the UK would do away with benefits, they will not struggle to have carers and so forth. But imagine if you are going to be given £2,000 on benefits because you don't have a husband, you've got 4 children and so forth. Not only are you given £2,000 on benefits, you are also given a house on benefits. You are given a whole full house to accommodate you and your children. You get it, a whole full house, and then will you want to go and work? 2,000 on benefits, whole full house to go and stay with the children. Or if you are to pay rent in that house, it's a subsidized amount. You are paying, like me, I'm paying maybe £700 on my rent, and you're only paying something like £60 or £100 on your rent from the £2,000 that they've given. Do you think people will get up and go and work? So good luck with getting people within the UK to fill in the workforce, because people don't want to work. If they really wanted to work, you wouldn't be having 35% of doctors coming from overseas, 25% coming from overseas. And that's just statistics from a few countries. It's more than that. It's worse than that. Understand? Then, Popo, why did you promote UK? Why did you promote UK instead of USA? Why did you promote UK instead of USA? Why now? I'm not promoting UK. I'm not promoting USA. I'm presenting opportunities to people. You understand? There's a difference between promoting and presenting opportunities. I am saying if the opportunities in UK are not there, instead of wasting your time applying and applying and applying and applying until your what you call this, your CPT expires, because they know, those who are out there, they know that their CPTs have expired until your IELTS expire. Instead of putting your eggs in one basket, when the UK is clearly telling you that they are not going to be hiring from your country, you come here, you say, I'm promoting. I'm not promoting. I'm saying look for plan B. If plan A does not work for you, look for plan B, look for plan C. Because you are seeing that plan A is not working. You cannot force plan A to work if it's not working. You cannot force the UK NHS to hire you from Zimbabwe or Nigeria or Ghana if they've clearly stated that they don't want to hire you from Ghana. So what are you going to do? Get one rejection, 2, 15, 16 rejections, and after getting 16 rejections, you say, oh, I still want to come to UK. I still want to come to UK. If you have not watched the video where I interviewed a nurse, I'm going to leave it in the description box. This nurse wanted to come. We were studying CPT together. He is from Ghana. He became a good friend of mine. We still talk, and so forth. He wanted to come to UK. He even had a place here in Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland, we're going to be meeting in Northern Ireland. It's going to be great and stuff like that. But he had written his IELTS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times and seen that, oh no, it's not working for me. So what did you expect him to do? Because he had gotten points which can take him to UK. Do you want him? He had passed his CPT as well, because we're studying CPT together. He had passed his CPT as well. So did you want him to keep on trying to push for IELTS, push for IELTS so that he comes to UK? Or go to the United Kingdom where there are other opportunities, go to the USA where there are other opportunities? He took the advice from people that do not put your eggs in one basket. It's not only the United Kingdom which needs people from overseas. It's not promoting USA over UK, but USA is going to accept you. And you know what? He did his NCLEX. His USA accepted him, and he's earning up to $16,000 as a travel nurse in the United States. Can a nurse here in UK make $16,000 per month? No, a nurse cannot make $16,000 US dollars here per month. You understand? So it's not about promoting UK or promoting USA. It's about if there are other opportunities, stop knocking at the door which has closed and locked you behind when there are other doors where you can knock and they open for you. Simple as that. So go and knock elsewhere if you fail here. You understand? So it's not about promoting UK, promoting what? Nurses in the United States of America, they are getting better pay than the nurses in the UK. That is a fact. Nurses in Australia are getting a better pay. That is a fact. You understand? That's why when you're looking at the top 10 countries, top 10 highest paid countries, with regards to nurses and stuff like that, you have number one Luxembourg, Sweden. You don't have the UK. Understand? So if you're saying if you cannot penetrate the UK, go elsewhere. It's not about promoting, because you say, oh, Papa is promoting this. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about you. Me, I'm already here in the United Kingdom. I've already relocated, right? But you are struggling to relocate where you are. You are knocking at the door which has closed and locked you behind. I'm telling you, there are other opportunities. Try other countries. You understand? Try other countries instead of knocking at the door which has shut you out. You understand? 16,000 USD per month. Oh yes, it was 16,000 USD per month. I will link the video in the description box so that you go and watch the video and you listen to the testimony of the guy, because the guy actually says sometimes we all make plans, but the ultimate decider, if you believe in God, the ultimate decider of your final destination is not you, it's God. That's what I was actually saying, that, I was trying UK, but God had other plans for me. Look at me now, I am so happy. And he is so happy in America. He is happy. He's buying cars, he's buying houses, he's doing this. He's living the life. You understand? Because he did not say, oh, I'll keep on writing my IELTS, because there are people who have written their IELTS 15 times, yet they have enough scores to take them to UK. They could have taken all the other money, 271 US dollars that they were dedicating towards IELTS times 5. That's more than 1,000 US dollars, and written their NCLEX and relocated to the United States of America. Simple as that. Erica says, I'm about to round off this live, guys. I don't tire of talking. Popo, let's say I'm a nurse from Zimbabwe, but currently in other European countries. Am I allowed to apply in the UK and work as a nurse, since I am not working in the red list country? So when it comes to the issue of red list countries, guys, it's not about the country itself, but it's about the geographical location. You can be a Nigerian in the UAE, you can be a Zimbabwean in Japan, you can be a Zimbabwean in South Africa. That's why I was encouraging those who have got dual citizenship to say, rather use your South African citizenship to apply and come here than to use your Zimbabwean citizenship. You understand? So if you move to any other country, like maybe you're from Zimbabwe, move to South Africa, and you stay in South Africa legally, or you stay in Japan legally, or you stay in, which is not a red list country, you are able to relocate from that country and come to UK. They will not consider your nationality. They consider your geographical location, because where you are not contributing to the healthcare system of Zimbabwe. If, let's say, you're from Zimbabwe, you are not in Zimbabwe, and any other European country, you are contributing to the healthcare system of that European country, but you are not contributing to the healthcare system of what? Of Zimbabwe. So your being Zimbabwean does not affect Zimbabwe in any way. So if you are from a red list, if you've got an opportunity to go into other countries and stuff like that, you can apply from a non-red list country to come to UK. So guys, I'm going to read maybe just one or two more questions, and then if you've got any questions, guys, I always answer all your questions. Do drop them here. If I'm not able to answer them during this live, I'll answer them after I'm done with the live. And guys, if you haven't liked my video, because I can see that there are very few likes there, if you haven't liked my video, do like my video. It's free to just press that like button, just to appreciate this information that I come here and share with you, and also share my video. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss any of my fantastic videos. All right. Popo, what if you are a carer in UK already? we won't be able to get a COS. So are you a carer with a COS, or you are a carer without a COS? If you are a carer without a COS, yes, if you want to get a sponsor, because I do have people who I work with who are working as general carers here in UK, and then they applied for a COS within the company that I work for, and then they were given the certificate of sponsorship. So yes, you can get a certificate of sponsorship. Should you wish to switch, if you came in as a carer and you do have a certificate of sponsorship, you can also switch and get a certificate of sponsorship. In Zim, my sister is doing as well. So I think it's not about where you are, it's about the mindset. If Janja, I totally 100,000% agree with you. It's not everyone who's doing bad in their countries. There are rich people in Nigeria, there are rich people in Zimbabwe, there are rich people in Ghana. They are doing extremely well. There are people who are doing far better than us here in UK, far better. I've got my relatives, some of them in Zimbabwe, they're doing 20 times better than me here in the United Kingdom. It's all about the mindset. Just like people who are paying £12,000 to come to the UK, paying for a COS, rather than paying that £12,000, you can invest in a project in your country, be it here in Zimbabwe, be it here in Nigeria, be it here. You can invest in a project in your country and you do very well in your country. So I am not saying everyone is doing bad. It's not true. A lot of people are rich. I've got friends, exes, I'm sorry to say this, exes in Zimbabwe who are millionaires, literal millionaires in Zimbabwe, because they've got companies and everything and they're doing so well. Let me not say exes because it will seem as if I've got many exes. I've got an ex in Zimbabwe who's doing very well. He's a millionaire, but he's in Zimbabwe. He's got companies and everything and all that, doing very well. So it doesn't mean that everyone is living for greener pastures in UK. People do have their greener pastures in their countries. If you've got that proper mindset and you know how to plan and you utilize your money and everything, these monies that you're paying to get the COS, right? These monies that you're paying to get the COS, you can use them to invest in whatever things in your country and generate more income and do better than most of us who are here in the United Kingdom, because some of us here in the United Kingdom, we are just living. We're living hand to mouth. We're going to work, living hand to mouth, paying the rent and everything, and remaining with no extra cash to even build a house back home or even buy a house here in the United Kingdom. So I agree with you. People are doing extremely well. I know millionaires in Zimbabwe, not bond millionaire, US millionaires that I've brushed shoulders with, who are very rich. You understand? Luen Dos Santos says, if UK doesn't want us, Europe, Canada, and Australia want. I decided to move from here. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for supporting me in that statement. You understand, guys? If a country doesn't want you, try other options. Do not cry and say, please let me in, please let me in, please let me in. When there are other countries, there's Australia, there's Europe. You know, yesterday I was seeing some countries that I don't even know in Europe, which are hiring from overseas and offering visa sponsorship. The country called, it's called Latvia, something like that. It's actually hiring. It needs people from overseas. So many European countries are hiring from overseas and they're needing people from overseas. So it's not only the United Kingdom. It's not like, oh, you're no longer promoting. If there are any vacancies here, I come and share with you. Guys, there are vacancies here. Please apply and so forth and so on. I came last week, I shared with you, they are hiring what you call this? The horticulture industry, they are hiring. That is an opportunity for you to apply if you want to come. Or the fishy, whatever industry they're hiring, the bricklayer, the whatever, the construction industry they're hiring. But if the healthcare industry is becoming more and more difficult, if you can apply to other countries, do apply to other countries. Guys, I am taking one last question, then I will round this live. And thank you so much for coming and joining me on this live. And thank you so much for your continued support, guys. I really appreciate you. It's really a blessing to come on live and see so many people coming in to join you on your live. More so, I just impromptu came on live without even alerting anyone that I'm going to be coming live, and you do come and join me. I really appreciate that. Zapi, thank you for watching me. Really appreciate it. I work with Zapi, and he is the best individual ever. Such a lovely person, and I'm happy he's live with me here. When applying directly to a care home, how do I confirm that it is allowed to offer COS? How do I confirm that it is legit? For all the care homes which are hiring from overseas, they are all in it's not the shortage occupation list of licensed sponsors. If you watched a few weeks ago, I did put up a video where I said there's now a dedicated website for companies which are licensed to sponsor to hire specifically healthcare workers, right? So what happens is they clearly stated that in that website, if a care home or a care company is under investigation, they will not appear in the list of licensed sponsors. If the company has had their license revoked, it will not appear in the list of licensed sponsors. So when you're applying to a care home, before you apply to a care home, you go and check in that list. Just check a few videos back. I did mention it. Just go and check on that list. If it's on that particular list, then yes, it is approved. It is licensed to sponsor. And when you're checking, also check their CQC rating, because now the Home Office wants you to be hired by companies which are approved by the CQC and have got a good CQC rating. So you also look at the CQC rating. If it's a good rating, if it needs improvement, go and look at because CQC, they post with areas which need improvement in that company and so forth. Go and look at the CQC report and see what areas need improvement and see whether those are areas which can be improved, because some companies, it needs improvement, and they don't improve, and then they're eventually shut down. So you just look at that CQC rating. It has to be a good one or an excellent one, and that list of licensed sponsors, it will be there. So that's how you find out. So guys, it has been a pleasure having you here on this live. I'm tempted to take one last question before I say goodbye, because I'm seeing, Yvonne Kadan says, you are right, Popo. I work night shift in a nursing home unit. We are 3 Zimbos and 1 Ukrainian. The night nursing officer is also Zimbo. You understand, guys? That is very true. Wherever, like everywhere I work, the majority of the people are from overseas. We are essential here in UK. We are needed. And without us, the healthcare system, the NHS, the care homes, take everyone who's a foreigner out of it, it will definitely collapse. So do not let anyone make you feel otherwise if you're here in UK, because you are special. You didn't just come here to waste your time. You came here to help, and you are a special individual. Popo, any information about migrating to Germany as a nurse? I think this is the last one that I'm going to answer. Oh, there are so many questions, guys. There are so many questions, but I think this is the last one that I'm going to answer. The rest of the questions, I'll answer them after the live. For nurses in Germany, yes. If you looked at the video that I did a few days ago, if you go and look at so there's this thing which is starting now, the Germany Opportunity Card, Chancenkarte. Don't know how to pronounce it. They've opened their borders to overseas workers, and under the healthcare sectors, there are nurses. Nurses are actually needed in Germany, but you need to have you need to have German language. You see, they said either English or German, but if you are working in the healthcare sector, it's essential that you at least have German language. There are nurses that I know who are from my country who are actually studying German language for them to relocate to go and work in Germany, because they've seen that the opportunities here in UK are becoming fewer and fewer and fewer. That's why they're exploring other countries. And all other European countries, guys, they pay very well when it comes to whether you're a nurse or you're a carer. They pay good salaries. Like for carers, it's more or less the same everywhere in other European countries, and for nurses, it's more or less the same with some other countries paying double, twice as much. Understand? So if you want to go to Germany, just do your English, and then you are free to apply, because they've opened the, even if you want to go and look for a job while it's in Germany, this new visa route which they opened yesterday, the 1st of June 2024, it enables you to relocate to Germany for 1 full year to look for a job within Germany. So if you have your proof of funds and everything, and you are a nurse, you can relocate and go to Germany to look for a job. And there are so many job openings for nurses, because it's one sector where they clearly stated that they've got critical shortage of staff. Otherwise, guys, Mumbai Mshonga says, Low Popo, how many exes do you have? I've got so many exes. I've got so many exes, my dear. I cannot even count. There are too many. There are too many. I don't know. Got so many exes. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this live. And before I say goodbye, may you kindly smash the like button. And may you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, may you please subscribe to my channel. Turn on the notification bell so that you never miss any of my videos. And if you have any questions, guys, please do drop them in the comment section, and I'm going to answer your questions. I've seen that there are questions on UK truck drivers and stuff like that, and students, families in the UK and so forth. I'm going to answer those questions after I am done with my live. Otherwise, thank you so much for taking your precious time to come and watch my videos. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.